Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury on the Pluta channel. Today guys, I am doing a paid review 21QB144. That's right guys, this is a paid review and it's an express emergency watch review before purchase. Hello Pontiff from Ernesto, hello indeed. Quick before we start this paid review, wristwatch check, Rolex Submariner. Okay, here we go. You've helped me in the past with a collection review, and a lot has happened in the collection since then. I am just over 60 years old, and frankly, I'm looking at the end game in collecting. Now I need a quick watch review and the Pontiff's recommendation on a potential grail watch. My current collection in order of acquisition is a Rolex 16570 Polar Explorer 2, acquired directly from an AD in 1997-98. If I have to get rid of everything else, this would be the last watch to go, and you would have to kill me first to take it from me. I was a one and done watch guy with this watch for many years. I wear this watch on weekends, doing work around the house, and also when traveling, and for all outdoor sports activities. Next piece is a 1999 Rolex 16520 Zenith Daytona with white dial. Bought used back in the days when these watches were good value. I don't really wear this watch except sometimes during the summer for informal social events. Next piece is a late 90s Zenith El Primero. Bought used a few years ago. This is a nice manual wind chronograph, but I usually wear it on the bracelet and use it as a beater. To be honest, I enjoy this chronograph more than the Daytona. And then he's got a Rolex Yachtmeister 126622 blue dial, bought directly from the main AD, who I have a relationship with. Initially I started looking at Royal Oaks and Aquanauts because I thought I wanted an integrated bracelet luxury watch, but I found them a little too delicate for my use, and I tried on the blue dial Yachtmaster. It was love at first sight. I don't care what anyone thinks of this reference, and there are a lot of people who get hung up on the model name and can't see the watch for what it is. For me, it occupies the role that a dive watch occupies for most other people. In their collections. Nothing wrong with a Yachtmeister. So I have 3 good Rolex steel sports watches and a beater that I like. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with the collection as it is, but I do sometimes think about having a nice complicated watch that I can wear as an everyday dress watch. I have had a couple of Pateks and a couple of Reversos over the years, and while I like these pieces, they were all flawed or my use in one way or another. For a few years now, I have been looking at the Patek 5036, the sister watch to your 5035, which I also admire, but I never pulled the trigger. I only like white metals for myself, and I prefer steel watches just because they are easier to look after. I also like blue dials and Arabic numeral indices or no numerals at all. So when Patek released a new annual calendar earlier this year, reference 4947/1A, it really ticked all my boxes. So a few months ago, I was put down on a waiting list with an AD, and just recently got the call that they have a watch in stock for me much sooner than they actually thought. I have no financial issues, and the question for me is simply whether this watch really is the sought after grail in my collection that I hope it is. I like the fact that it's an annual calendar and not a perpetual calendar, which could be a bit more problematic to set and service. I love the blue silk dial, which is rather like a linen dial. I like the hands and numeral indices. The loomed hands are good for me, and I don't have a hang up about that like some people do with loom on a dress watch. I don't mind that the date indicator is in white, although it probably would have been nicer in blue or dark blue. I love the size. 37 to 38 mil for a dress watch is perfect for me, and although I have an 18 centimeter wrist, I never wear anything larger than 40 mils. I like the sweep second hand and the railroad track at the perimeter on the dial, the perimeter of the dial. I love the moon phase, and I love the fact that it's steel and comes on a bracelet. Everything about this watch is really perfect for me, but I have two questions that I would like you to think over, discuss, and give me your thoughts on, as a bona fide Patek expert that you are. Please also give me your thoughts on any other aspects of this watch that I may have missed. Firstly, should I care that the watch is based on a slightly older caliber 324 movement and is a little undersized for the 38 mil case diameter, and the watch requires a spacer ring, which you can see in the display back? I know you have experience with that on Patek, and I wonder if it causes any real aesthetic problems for you when you have owned a watch like this for a while in the past. The second question, should I care at all that this watch is a unisex watch? I don't think so. I mean, you should, why should I? But this has been mentioned to me, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. Technically, Patek have given this a woman's reference number, and Patek says that it fits all wrists. I have felt comfortable with watches down to 35 to 36 mil in diameter in the past, so I'm not really worried about it. Feminine, so why should I care? Or am I missing something here? I would really appreciate your thoughts before I go to buy the watch later this week. Many thanks in advance. Best regards for the holiday, Ernesto. So, what are we talking about here? This is a new steel Patek Philippe, and it's quite an interesting watch. It's a very, very interesting watch. Why is it interesting? I'll tell you why. This is a watch they marketed to both women and to men, and it's quite a fascinating deal. So, very interesting watch indeed, and I gotta be totally honest with you, this is an amazing Patek Philippe. It's an annual calendar. Now, a few little things, let's just go through this here. So, the sizing, it's this sizing on this watch here, 38 mil. You know what, the funny thing is, on my annual calendar, the 5035, that was marketed as a men's watch, it's actually 37 mil, but it wears a little bit smaller. It wears like a 35 or a 36. And to be honest with you, I love it. I love it. Now you're asking the question here, so I got to be honest with you. Let's just go through a few little things you're talking about there. Now you're saying it, but it's based on the slightly older 324 movement. I don't think you quite understand. The 324 movement isn't that old at all. The 315 movement, that's the movement which my annual calendar has. That's when you say an older movement, possibly that's the older 315. The 324 is the newer incarnation. But see, I think you're missing something. The 240 movement, that's been around since the 70s. Patek is not about having the latest movement. This is not a Japanese hi-fi set where we want the latest and biggest and new movement. This is Patek Philippe. The 324 movement is pretty damn... The 315 or the 324 are both pretty good movements. So I'd have no qualms whatsoever. 324 movement, I don't understand what you mean there. In fact, they've actually put... They've actually... I believe they've used a 324 movement in the perpetual calendar with the syringe hands. What's that? The 5320. That uses the three. So there's nothing wrong with the 324 movement. Nothing wrong. A slight 1 mil. That's nothing. Don't be silly with that. I wouldn't even worry about that. This is an amazing watch. To be honest with you, on the secondary market, this watch is selling for 10,000 kind of premium. So if you can get one from the AD, man, grab it with both hands. It's a lot of money. This is not a cheap watch. This is not a cheap watch. I think it's a beautiful steel with blue dial. Man, that is, I mean, if it was 1 or 2 mil bigger, this would be on the secondary market over $100,000. A steel annual calendar. Man, it is absolutely gorgeous. So to answer your question there, first question, the watch is based on the slightly... There's nothing slightly older about the 324 movement. That's a great movement. Nothing wrong with that. 38 mil size. Nothing wrong with that. That's a nice... I think that's a great size. I'd have no qualms with that. The second question is, how do I feel about buying a unisex? You know, that's an interesting question. How would you feel about buying a unisex? And it's 38. It's quite a big size. You know what I mean? I personally don't have any qualms with it at all. I think it's got huge potential, particularly this watch. You can see it's really focused for the Asia Pacific market. Not everybody wants a 40 or a 41 or 42 mil monster. And I think a steel complicated Patek wowzers, absolutely wowzers. I think, look, it's going to be a bit of a delicate watch. It's not like a Rolex. Please don't make that misunderstanding. But this watch is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If you can get one at retail, man, this is a gorgeous watch. Steel with a blue dial. Winner, chicken dinner. So I wouldn't really have any problems with it. I mean, the alternative is, okay, so what's the alternative to that? You could get a pre-owned 5146, but you'd have to get that in white gold. You're not going to get that in steel. That's an annual calendar, 39 mils. You know, I think I would prefer the steel on the bracelet. The other one is the 5960. 59. Let me just call this up here. So this watch, 38 mils. Yes, 38 mils. Just looking this up here. See that these are really going. Holy shite. Yeah, so if we the other option would be a Patek. What's the 5960/1A? What are they going for? So this was a steel. These were a steel. This was a steel annual calendar chronograph, and they were 40 mils, 40.5 mils. Okay, there you go. So a 5960, you'd have to buy that pre-owned because that's a discontinued model that comes on the bracelet. You'd have to get it with a white dial. They did it also with a black dial, but they actually sell for a big premium. They had them with a blue dial in white gold, which I actually love. I do actually love. But the advantage of this one, 5960, is that it is actually an annual calendar chronograph. Now, it is more money. You'd have to get it on the pre-owned market. It depends. Are you comfortable with a pre-owned watch? Do you really want a new one? That's what you got to ask yourself. Personally, what do I think of the watch that you mentioned there? Look, I would say to you, steel with blue dial, man, that is going to be so cool, and it's going to fit into the Asian market. The 4947, man, unisex, I don't have a problem with it. I'd gladly wear that watch. I would gladly wear that watch. It's a beautiful, gorgeous Patek in steel with a blue dial. My God, how could you not love that watch? And I've got a feeling with the sizings, you know what, that could become quite special indeed. So I wouldn't have a problem. I think it's a beautiful thing to buy. If you can get it at retail, that's pretty damn good. And nothing wrong with that 324 movement. That movement is a fantastic movement. By the way, did you know most of the perpetual calendars obviously with the 240 movement, they don't have the center second because the 240 movement doesn't support center seconds. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Most of the perpetual calendars don't have center seconds. And this does. I think it's an absolute cracker of a watch. You know what? I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you've got a nice, I like your collection. Explorer 2, Zenith Daytona, a Yachtmaster. Nothing wrong with the Yachtmaster. I don't know who says bad things about the Yachtmaster. I love the Yachtmaster. Nothing wrong at all. The Yachtmaster 2 is a bit of an acquired taste, but it's a big, chunky monkey. So it's got its own followers as well there. So what do I think of the Patek? You know what? I actually gave this a lot of thought. When I first I read the request, I was saying, no, I wouldn't get it. I was thinking to myself, you know what? No, don't get it. Don't get it. And then I looked at it. I went on, because I'd seen him on the Patek site. And I thought, ooh, this is actually quite sexy. 38 mil. It's bigger than my 5035. Steel bracelet, blue dial. Winner, chicken dinner. And it's absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely. And I gotta be honest with you, I had a friend of mine, he had the 5905 or 5902 he had. And you know what? That was actually a bit big, but this is, it's gorgeous. I really do love this watch. It's absolutely beautiful. 38 mil. I don't understand how you're complaining about the spacer ring. There's no obvious spacer thingy that I can really see here. No, it's not. It actually fits the case pretty damn good. I don't understand. I gotta be totally honest with you. I think that's an amazing pad. I'd love one. And I think you got a nice. I gotta be honest with you. A 5036. I have loved that watch. It's got when it's on a bracelet, it's got a completely different feel to it. They are amazing. Really, really amazing watch. 5036. I love it. You know what? Sometimes in life you just gotta don't listen to dickheads and and morons out there. Follow your heart. That's what I would do. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. I definitely, man, it's a beautiful watch. Steel Patek. See, when you're going too big, when it's too big, 5905, you know, when it's really, really big, I don't know if that's the way I'd want to go, you know. They can also get too big. You just, you know, there's something about, I mean, I love 40 mil. I love the 40 mil. When it gets bigger than 40, ooh, you know, it's sort of, I think, you know, just hang on there. I'll just get something. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I want to just give you the reference. Which one was I? Okay, so the one, the 5320, that's the Patek with the syringe. That's a perpetual calendar, okay? And that uses the 324 base movement. That uses the 324 base movement. Now that, let me just find that. I want to find that. I want to find it. The one I'm talking about is the 5205. The 5205. That's the annual calendar. That's all it is an annual calendar, and it is actually 40 mil. I mean, they're a bit big. It's actually 40. Yeah, I think it's 40. I thought it was a bit. Oh, that's right. The 5905, 42 mil. And I know someone who had one, who said it was too big. It was too big. See, the funny thing is, when you're looking at the sizing of them, one of my favorite of all time is the 5396 annual calendar, okay? And that is 38.5 mils. The 5146, they've dropped, that was 39 mils. The 4947/1, that's 38 mils. See, I think that's a lovely, I think it's a lovely watch with that blue linen-y dial. Man, how could you not love that? I think that is absolutely breathtaking. It's a breathtaking watch. The 4947, absolutely breathtaking. It's 38 mils. So, you know, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's a beautiful watch. If you can get it at retail, there's 10,000. It's going on the secondary market. I mean, not that you want to flip these things. These things, it's just so that you know you could get your money back. If you, well, I don't suppose. But look, it's nice to know what it's going for on the secondary. I think it's gorgeous. Steel Patek annual calendar, blue dial. Wow. 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 I love it. So I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I think that size, you know, to tell you the truth, I really think it's so, you'll love it. You'll really love it. 37, 38, there's something special about it being slightly smaller. And I'm not talking 33, it's not a 33 mil. This is still massive for Patek. I reckon if you get a chance, pull the trigger. Okay, that's my review on it. Tell me what you think, guys. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And I will see you in the next one.